if there was any doubt before the start of the race, I think it wasn't there. As soon as the gun went off, it was pretty clear that we were really determined this year.
Welcome to the Low Tide Boyz, a Swimrun Podcast. I'm Chip.
And I'm Chris, and this is episode 66. Pretty awesome. I think that...
It's awesome 66 times over.
I was just thinking about it earlier today when I was working on the show notes. Just like, man, that's just a lot of shows. It's a lot of content. But
Consistent.
This episode probably takes it over the top in terms of content. I'm just gonna put that out there as a hot take. We're super stoked to have George and Pontus back on the show this week to chat about the film All the Way, the Making of Swimrun Champions. And we think that we're going to call them throughout this intro just to save time. G&P. We think they're great, and it was really fun to connect with them again. And more on that later in the show. But we're going to announce this later, but it's important for us to say it now before we get too deep into this thing. We are our media company, Chipper, LTBz Productions, is launching its first event, which is happening this Sunday, April 11th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be hosting the Encore premiere of All the Way, the Making of Swimrun Champions, for the U.S. audience that missed the world premiere a few weeks ago. And we'll also have special guest G&P on after the film to do a Q&A with the audience. So if you guys want to get to meet them. G&P. I feel like I'm saying it too much. So anyway, we're going to talk more about this later in the show, but you can head over to Low Tide Boyz /alltheway, all one word, for all the details on that.
Yes, and if you have any burning questions, you can email to us or send in the DMs, and that would be good. We could have a little bank to ask G&P when they're ready.
Yeah.
On to this week's training update. So we have training continues. We've been seeing a lot of improvement on the swim side of stuff. We've been really loving the plan that we are on from Tower 26. We're not on the special Low Tide Boyz plan. We're just on the normal plan.
We kind of need to get on.
We probably should get on. We need probably some specialty. So if anyone is looking to give their swim training a jolt of energy or some structure, or you're looking to make gains and you've been sort of banging your head, plateauing or something, definitely check out Tower 26. Both Chris and I highly recommend that.
Highly.
Swimrun practices are on the horizon, and we'll be headed back to Lake Sonoma for the first of hopefully many swimrun adventures there.
Yeah. And
now on to this week's jam-packed shout-out segment.
Jam-packed.
Chris, go.
Okay, so this is a shout-out-heavy segment, but just bear with me because all these shout-outs are
awesome.
Worthy. Let's put it that way.
Tied for all three-way tie for first.
Definitely. So first, a big shout-out to Helene for her generous donation to our fundraiser for Wild Swimrun's Wild Youth Initiative. If you heard last week's episode, then you know that we raised enough for a second woman or girl to attend one of their amazing camps for free. But we are not satisfied with that because we try to be overachievers. And with her help, we have a jumpstart on getting the third scholarship funded. So if you want to help us get a third person to one of their amazing camps around the world, you can donate on our website, lowtideboyz.com.
Big button there. Can't miss it.
Can't miss it. All the way at the bottom of the homepage. Next up, we have a combo shout-out for a great training crew from North Carolina. This is a group of 8 folks who are all doing their first swim run at Lake James in a few weeks. They were supposed to do the race last year to celebrate Chris's 60th birthday, but, COVID. So they're doing it this year for his 61st. So best of luck to Chris and happy birthday. Bob, Al, Bobby, Ryan, Kristen, Brian, and Bernard. Yeah. Thanks for listening to the show, and prepare to have an awesome time at Lake James.
What a great pack of folks. Their first swim run as a group of 6.
Yeah.
And they're already going to be prepped up because that Swimrun Lake James episode
8.
That was last week with did I say 6? 60 birthday threw me.
Yeah. That's okay.
Anyway.
Still
8
awesome.
folks.
Now, I will say they kind of need a team. They need like a name. They need like a...
for their conglomerate?
Yeah. Got Kraken Swim Run. There's all kinds of names out there, but, I'm not going to riff on...
The Octagon of North Carolina.
There you go. So, finally, we really want to give a very special shout-out to Trista Menon. she was recently selected to be a Wild Swim Run ambassador, and we can't think of a better person to represent the inclusive spirit of swim run and the mission of Wild Swim Run to get more women and girls into the sport. Her enthusiasm is infectious, and we've personally gotten, we know that she's personally gotten a small army of people to be super stoked on Swim Run. So thank you for everything you've done and will do for the sport. And I know I can speak for Chipper when I say that, one of the blessings of starting the show is getting to meet you and, to be able to have some fun out there.
Here. I second that. So if you have any Wild Swim Run questions, now you can direct those to Trista. So she'll be linked properly in the show notes there if you're not already following her on Instagram.
Yeah, and if you don't know
handstand activity.
Yeah, a lot of handstands. If you don't know about Wild Swim Run, find out. It's awesome.
Episode
10.
Lucky number 10.
Yeah.
Now to the Feats of Endurance. Well, this week, I have to preface this. This isn't selected by me.
Right, it was selected by me.
But this week's winner is my brother.
We need to talk about this.
We need to talk about this. So my brother, his name is Michael, same last name. Out of the blue, he texts me and he says, "Hey, I think I want to do a swim run, and tell me about it." And he knows that I'm doing that we're doing the show and everything.
Right.
So I said, "Well, first of all, you got to get on the Strava, the Low Tide Boyz Strava Club. Go over there, get on, and so everyone can kind of see what you're up to, so we can give you kudos and everything." So we're very stoked that he's on board. Sent him some of my extra swim caps and all the kind of basic stuff. So keep it up, Mini Chip.
I think
we're
it's
rooting
great.
for you.
I think it's great.
Yeah. So there might be more if people can handle 2 Nicodemi on the same show. It might happen. Bonus. Feats of Endurance awards go to our favorite mixed team, the Boston Red Sox, Bronwyn and Greg from Boston. They've been posting workouts while they're on their recent vacation to Puerto Rico. So they ran in Chris's hometown and swam in the ancestral waters, which is Ocean Park, where he learned to swim.
Yeah, as a wee lad.
Whoa.
I was 2 years old when I learned to swim. And last week, or maybe a couple weeks ago, when Rick Mann won, I made a statement. Anybody who's posting workouts in Puerto Rico, you're automatic.
Wow.
So bonus awards to them.
So if you want a Feats of Endurance bumper sticker, it's twofold to get one. 1, go train in Puerto Rico. 2, make sure you're in the Low Tide Boyz Strava Club, where you can join in, get inspired by fellow swim runners as they train all over the world, dish and receive kudos.
Yes.
And we're definitely seeing a lot more activity as spring has sprung here in the Northern Hemisphere.
200 folks.
Almost at 200 people.
I remember being super stoked when there was 20, and I'm just as stoked whenever there's a new person on there.
It's insane.
It's great.
It's awesome. We just love all the activity and everything that's going on there.
Actually, I think I'm getting carpal tunnel from all the kudos.
All the kudos?
Because I kudo everybody. If you're in the club, you're getting a kudo.
Go to your kudo with your left thumb instead of just your right, maybe.
Yeah. Switch it up.
Yeah, switch it up. Or go get an iPad or a bigger thing, and you can use a finger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'll just throw money at the problem.
Yeah. Buy a different iPad. So, on to This Week in Swim Run, powered by RaceID.com.
So we have a couple of updates to share this week. Atala recently announced that all of their 2021 events are open for registration on raceid.com, of course. And we, Chipper and I, are already registered for Catalina. So come join us. If you need more incentive than just hanging out with us, the back of the field, early bird registration is happening until April 13th. So sign up early, save money, lock it in. We might have been the first people to sign up for Catalina, but that's fine.
Yeah, it was like we were trying to buy concert tickets to,
like a Britney Spears
Justin
concert.
Bieber or something.
Yeah.
So that's the week before Thanksgiving, and we're in the U.S., and I mean, so excited.
It's going to be fun.
Super stoked.
Super fun.
Anywho.
In other news, for the ladies out there, you should save the dates of May 15th and 16th for the next Wild Swim Run camp called Wild Day at Utah. So pretty sure you can figure out where that camp is going to be held. But there is more info coming soon, so sign up for the Wild Swim Run newsletter to be the first to hear all the details. Finally, the next registration price increase for Odyssey Swim Run's events, Mackinac, which I learned how to say recently, Mackinac Island, Ludington, and Austin are all happening on April 14th at midnight. So make sure to sign up soon if you want to race and save some money. Our sources, the internet, tells us that Mackinac Island is already 50% sold out. So, let that FOMO take over and just sign up now because you do not want to miss out on that race. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, all those races are awesome.
Yeah. So that's it for this week. Feel free to email us to tip us off of any events or swimrun news that you'd like for us to share on the show.
Yes, now to updates. So our latest episode of Gear Talk with the Swimrun Labs is out. We do a full review of the Arc Sports Corp wetsuit. So check it out where you're already listening to this. It should have showed up right in your feed Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
Speaking of gear, as we're sitting in the Idea Lab, i.e. my garage, we came up with something to help everyone buy, sell, or exchange new and used gear. So we created the group, the Swimrun Swap Meet on Facebook. So just search Swimrun Swap Meet, apply or ask to join, and we'll let you join. And that's a place where you can share, swap, or sell. It's a buy-sell group. Go in there, unload your old wetsuits, your paddles, your buoys, whatever the situation is, and it's all for swim runners. So there won't be any bikes, anything like that. So it's all kind of swim run stuff. So enjoy. Finally, as we mentioned earlier in the program, mark your calendars for this Sunday, April 11th at 3 p.m. Eastern for an encore premiere of All the Way, the Making of Swimrun Champions. This one specifically for the U.S. audience and anyone who may have missed the world premiere a few weeks ago. We're going to have a live Q&A with George and Pontus, also known as G&P, after the film. So head on over to lowtideboys.com/alltheway for all the details. If you have any questions that you want to send to George and Pontus before, shoot us an email, lowtideboys@gmail.com, or drop us a DM on Instagram.
Yeah, and the way it's going to work real quick so everyone knows, we'll be posting a Zoom link on that page, lowtideboys.com/alltheway. So you basically go there the day of the thing, see the link. We'll make sure you're not going to, Zoom bomb us, and we'll get going from there.
Yes. Additionally, the hats are in. So be sure to go grab yourself a Low Tide Boyz lid if you're feeling like you need to keep the sun off your face or your neck, or you just want to look cool. lowtideboys.com. The hats are there. Now, on to this week's interview with G&P.
Yeah, so we're going to keep this brief because we haven't been briefed so far, but we're super stoked to have George and Pontus back on the show to chat about the film All the Way. We discussed a lot of the scenes from the film and dove deeper into some of those scenes and into their training for the World Championship. We talked about their positive attitude and their relationship as friends and partners, which is definitely tested in this film. But, they came through it the right way. We've said it before, but we think that they're great ambassadors for swim run, and they're just really easy to root for. Yes, I know we're rooting for them. So, yeah, check out this interview. It was awesome.
Enjoy. Now, go to your calendar. April 11th. Mark it down. U.S. premiere. All the way.
3 p.m.
But first, G&P.
Okay, we're super stoked to have once again on the show George Bjälkemo and Pontus Lindberg. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome back,
Thank
guys.
you very much.
Yeah, we're really happy to have you guys back on, and thank you so much for supporting the show and and being fans, spreading the good word about Swimrun. We wanted to chat with you today about the movie that just came out, All the Way, the Making of Swimrun Champions, where you guys are the main protagonists. What was that like being documented?
I have a sort of a problem being in the center and being in focus of things. So
yeah,
that was weird.
takes a little getting used to with the camera. It
was like being in CBT. What you call exposure experiment to get used to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Oh yeah. Exposure therapy.
Yeah.
There you go. Got it. And so this was Carl, who we had interviewed on our last one of our recent episodes, the director, in 2018, he started chronicling your team's push to win the Attila World Championship, and we all kind of saw how this unfolded in the documentary. And I remember Chris and I were lucky enough to get an early preview of it, and we have seen it, I want to say 5 times now or something, at least.
Okay.
Each. And so we may have seen it, probably the most right now of anybody.
Yeah,
I would say.
except
But anyway,
for Carl, maybe.
Except Carl, and you guys have probably seen it more than us. But there was.
Well, I think I only seen it twice, different cuts also.
Yeah.
Different cuts, but the final version once.
You're probably on the highest count.
Yeah. Well, we are trying to be journalists and stuff, and we had to watch it to make sure we understood all the themes and everything.
And the first time that we saw it was, we have talked to all these people, and we finally get to see them in person. Yeah. And it was like, there's so and so, and we had to pause it, and then we were trying to watch with the closed captioning with the translations on. So that was a whole bit of extra endeavor as well, taking that on. But going back to your 2018, you two were really poised to have a good performance there in the World Championship. And then there was one particular scene which the only feeling I can really describe for you guys was just, I was just gutted. And that scene was when you two were at the aid station, and you knew you had to be there for only 20 seconds, but it started to turn into 30 and 45, and it was like, and you could kind of just feel it slip away a little bit. Was that actually what was happening kind of in that particular scene?
I guess that's on Una, maybe the long run.
Yeah.
Could that be it? Or,
I think you were down. I think it was. You guys are down 3 minutes or 3.5 minutes, and there was an aid. And
that must be on Una.
Yeah.
I think we both knew by then that things were not working out.
we had been going alone for like maybe 3 hours.
Wow, trying to bridge.
We wasn't able to catch up since they were 3 teams cooperating. And I think we were down to 1 minute at one time, but then it started to increase again. And that's, so we knew by then that it wasn't going to work out.
Yeah, I think at that point we also became aware that none of those 3 teams were falling apart. So we wouldn't even be able to get some sort of comfort in at least securing a spot on the podium because they were still holding it together. So that kind of made it even harder to motivate that extra gear that it would take.
This was also the year that if you won 6 races in a row, you would get I don't remember how much it was, but a lot of money. And we had won 4 consecutive races. So we just have to do this one and then secure the 1,000 lakes also, and then we would have the
big payday.
The big payday. So that was an extra disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I will say that was communicated effectively from in the film, but it also feel like it threw a heap load of gas on your fire. And what we saw after that race was you two taking it to what is kind of like in the marginal gains area where us
average people,
average Joes and Janes of Swimrun aren't even up in the stratosphere of the point where you guys are at with everyone. But you're looking, and you hired a specific run coach. You were diving into every aspect that you could to try to squeeze what you could out of your performance, and obviously it worked. Spoiler alert, it worked. but I would love to get into a little bit about where you guys started to kind of think about looking for your improvements to take that kind of little bit of a disappointment that you had in 2018 and translate it to the success that you knew you could have and wanted in 2019?
Yeah, I think the disappointment in 2018 was due to a lot of different factors. I think we were in shape. We were in good enough shape to take the win already that year, I think. But there were some foremost, I think, mentally we were tired from doing so many races during that year that we didn't really have that extra strength to really and be decisive in what we wanted to do during the race. Also strategically, there were a lot of active choices that we never made. We just accepted what was happening,
Passengers.
we didn't make like active choice to change anything.
We did a completely different race than we had done on all the shorter World Series races. There we had just gone hard from the gun and sort of taken command of the race and decided what would happen. And this race we were more like
passive,
reacting to all the other teams instead and just waiting sort of. And that wasn't good. So the race really slipped out of our hands.
I mean,
we did some tactical mistakes, and then we decided. I think we were pretty much the same day at the banquet or after the banquet. We decided that okay, let's do this as we do the other races next year, and just try to optimize for this race and don't do a lot of other things. Do it more like
just go with what works for you in every other race.
Yeah, exactly.
Lay it out,
and a bit more like we did in triathlon. When you did Ironman, there were so few races, so you could just focus on one race at a time. Since you did just 2 or maybe 3 Ironman races a year, so we did a bit more like that, and then
So kind of going a little bit deeper into kind of like the mental side of it, it seems to me like a race like the World Championship, it's such a long day. There's so many decisions you have to make, and you're essentially trying to figure out what's the best way to get from A to B as seamlessly as possible, as quickly as possible. And it seems like physically you were there and mentally you just had to kind of unlock some of these pieces. Do you think that the only way to have been able to do that was to have raced it before, or was it something where it just wasn't the right time?
Did you need the experience, or did you need that the I guess the disappointment of 2018 to kind of fuel that 2019 experience, or was it, hey, we need to test out the course and see how this longer race is going to unfold? Because as Michael from Otelo had mentioned, kind of in the front of the pack, it's kind of becoming a little bit like a Tour de France race, right? Where these teams are kind of playing and being really cute with each other.
I think his quote was they play games.
It was definitely an experience that helped us for the next year, and as you said, it really fueled our energy to improve everything even more.
How soon after the 2018 race did you guys sort of recommit to making 2019 World Championship be your goal? Do you take any downtime, or did you just go straight into like 1,000 Lakes and kind of kept pushing?
I think we decided pretty early on that that was going to be the goal, but we took a rest for
it was
just a couple of weeks.
I don't even remember if we did a race after that.
No, I don't think
so
we did
soon. We did the one in Cannes.
That's true. Yeah.
So,
we didn't do 1,000 Lakes since there was no need for it anyway. We had 1 or 2 years in a row, and we were just going to do it because we wanted that golden bib prize. So now we skipped that one and just...
I remember us thinking that we still needed to do something to get our motivation back on and feel that we got something out of all the training also, because we didn't do any other races except from Ute, I think. No, I'm sorry. I'm confused.
You got your
You're
years
mixing up the
sorted out.
years.
I'm
many
mixing
races?
up the years.
We did all
years.
the races.
Yeah. Yeah, we did all of them, but we still needed to fuel that fire a little bit more. So we did Cannes after Attila just to get through that disappointment.
Shake the bad one
so,
off. Yep.
Yeah.
I feel you on that.
I mean, it makes sense that you did. I mean, you guys essentially won every race that you entered except for the World Championship in 2018. So you're already at sort of the highest point in the sport, but for this one title, what was it like, all right, well, we know what we need to do. We just need to like reset and come at this next year. Or was it more like you guys had to talk to your partners and, you know, George was Helen being like, oh yeah, you'll be fine. Just like help me with the kids for the next 3 months and you can go back to training. Like how did that work?
I didn't actually, we didn't talk about it
it was just assumed
for a while there at home. But no, I know Helena was probably, she already knew that we were going to probably have another go at it, because she kind of saw the whole thing also the same way as we did, that we really came, we had what it would take, but we just couldn't get it out there that day, and for numbers of reasons. But so I'm pretty sure she wanted us to have another shot and to really get it all out there and show what we could do.
Yeah. And I let's dive into your partnership a little bit. And I think we talked about this in our interview with Carl, but one scene that Chris and I particularly really connected with was after, I think, a track practice or something. You guys went and you were in someone's car, but you guys each brought your towel and you put it over the back of the seat because you don't want to get your buddy's car all sweaty. And Chris and I do that same thing, and we're like, they're just like us, except way faster. But there is something there, and we noticed, you know, you guys are training together. Obviously, you did the huge Kraken swim run, ultra swim run, if you will, and there is something about there that when you and Chris and I have been really seeing this a lot more between us and in our training as we're training together more often and at higher kind of intensities. I'd imagine you guys are training very intense as well. It's when you're hurting and when you're in a bad place, you know your partner's right there in the same spot that you are. And is that kind of one area that you guys really try to focus on? Because you need to be so synced up for 8.5, 9.5 hours on the World Championship. Is that the level of commitment that you two need to know from each other, that you are both that committed?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say our strength as a team is probably that we know each other so well and cooperate extremely well.
Yeah. And it's like everything, you two are, you know, you're attached to the tether nearly, you know, getting your fika after a swim or after the run practice. And I think that just really, you guys, I think you're totally just so synced up, and it's not, oh, well, you know, George is going to go get the run training and Pontus is going to go hit the pool for some more laps. You both are committed to this one singular thing to better the overall team. And I think that's the real kind of beauty of swim run. That was a statement,
definitely.
I guess, not a question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a luxury that it's even that we can even do that. To have that much time together training, because I mean, it's not something that everyone could do for practical reasons and life puzzle reasons. But we really have an opportunity to use that to our advantage.
Yeah, and it seems to me like, you know, you guys enjoy each other's company, which I think would be important to a good partnership. But it also like you also drive each other to get the best out of the other person. Now, is that something that you guys discuss, or is it something that's kind of like unspoken where, hey, you both are committed to the same goal and whatever it takes to achieve it, that's where you go? So is it just kind of like, does it just happen because you guys are really great friends, or does it happen sort of more intentionally than that?
I don't know if we have talked about it that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I don't think so.
no, it's just
You just go.
You just do
And
it.
you know they're going to be there.
I think one of the most important things in the team constellation is that you sort of are responsible also as a team. I don't think we've ever been in the position where we think that the other one hasn't done what he should be doing,
Right,
or there's
right.
there's no blaming the other one.
Right.
That thought has never really crossed my mind that we would. Well, I've never blamed Pontus for everything and for anything, and I've never experienced Pontus, blaming me for not performing. Because I think we both sort of bring everything we possibly can.
Yeah,
I agree.
No, but you see a lot of other teams, there's falling outs, and because people don't get along, and
yeah, I mean, humans are
probably has a lot to do with that they experience that they don't really sort of meet halfway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think my timeline's correct here. So after before the 2019 race is when, Pontus, you had your ankle injury, compound fracture.
Yeah, I think the ankle injury was before the 2018 race. The fractured calf bone was before the 2019 race.
Right.
Okay.
There's a lot of injuries here.
So I'm sure that, I mean, obviously that was a pretty nerve-wracking scene in the movie where, they kind of built it up like, oh, is this going to end the kind of the redemption, the hunt for 2019? And
it felt a bit like that.
Yeah, walk us through that a little bit, because that, especially if you're at the level that you guys are at, and you need that redemption, and you're capable of that. I mean, that is a massive potential setback for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was horrible. I broke my leg during a run and had to crawl out of the woods, and I felt that this isn't good. And then I got to the hospital, and they confirmed with an X-ray that it was broken in two pieces. I thought that maybe this is game over for the 2019 season, and I felt really bad for George. I didn't want. It was not that fun to tell him about it.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, because you felt like you were letting him down, right? Because it's
of course. Yeah, felt terrible. Yeah, but somehow I've been in a position where I've broken things before. I think I have 2 or maybe 3 injuries that the doctors have said is career ending.
Wow.
And I have been really focusing on the rehab and made my way back. I was pretty sure that it's possible anyway. So I did rehab for 1 hour a day for a couple of months, or maybe 3 or 4 months. To get back in shape, and it worked out very well. Started running maybe this time of the year, last 2 years ago, but very, very, very soft, like 5 minutes running with 1 minute pause in between every minute.
And George, what were you thinking when this happened? You're like, come on, buddy, you can get it back, or were you just like, oh, what's
I probably wasn't as worried as Pontus was. Of course, I was. It was heartbreaking news.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that was a tough call to get, of course. Since we were so dead set on like really nailing it the following year in 2019, but knowing Pontus' history of injuries and his comebacks,
his history of comebacks too.
I wasn't as probably it wasn't as worried as Pontus was to begin with, maybe. Plus, he was extremely positive throughout this whole period. He never really, at least showed any doubt, which was helped a lot.
Yeah.
Staying rock solid there, and yeah, I mean it's nice, and that probably helped you a little bit, Pontus, that your partner had a lot of confidence in you because
yes,
you've done it before, so.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, of course. That was good.
So you guys came back and on the start of the 2019 Atala World Championship, were you two 100% confident that you were going to take it and you were going to take the win, or was there a little bit of doubt in there still?
If there was any doubt before the start of the race, I think it wasn't there as soon as the gun went off. It was pretty clear that we were really determined this year.
Yeah. You weren't going to react. You were going to make the active decisions.
There was no bullshit this time.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one funny scene in the movie that's, I guess, like Rasmus was shooting that, where it was before, I think it was the pig swim.
I think it was the pig swim.
And everyone is kind of standing ready to jump in, and you guys are like, hey, you guys want to lead a little bit? And everyone just started laughing at you guys. Like, what was that all about?
Yeah.
I think that's the bullshit they were talking about.
It was pretty obvious quite early on that the other team's strategy was to have us do all the swimming, lead all the swims.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So all the longer swims up to that point we had been leading. So we pretty much got tired of that.
And to be honest, that kind of gave us even more confidence.
Yeah.
That their fear was real.
Oh yeah, that's
and we knew that all of the other top teams, they had already sort of planned this together in a way, and so that just made it feel even better to sort of lead the race and sort of
it stoked your fire a little bit, like it kind of fueled it. About, okay, you guys need us to win. Your strategy to win is to follow us, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll just do that, and you were confident in your abilities.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we'll just hang back and wait for them to show some weakness or some
we'll take them down.
Chink in the armor or whatever. And you guys were like, forget you guys. Like, there's no chink here.
Exactly.
The armor's full up.
Felt even better to win when we did that, when we let them have their strategy and we won anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now, would you consider 2019 to be your best swim run performance at the World Championship, like ever, or was it more like
your most satisfying?
Your most satisfying.
I guess both.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. World champions. Plus, you get a bonus year being world champion because of COVID. So that's always
back.
Yeah, it really paid off.
The plan was to be world champs for one more year, but not in this way.
Yeah. Exactly. So another thing that the movie kind of goes into is, it talks about kind of like the experience of swim run as one where you have to essentially like negotiate the nature that's in front of you in order to succeed. And for every race, it's going to be different. Now, the way Carl talks about it in the film, it's almost like, the archipelago, it's like a character in the thing, and everyone has to kind of figure out the puzzle on how to get from A to B. Is that how you guys think about it? Or do you see it like more tactical, like, okay, let's just get from this island to that island and let's plan on holding this pace? When you're looking at a race that you've been studying and prepping for and have raced before, like the World Championship, like, how much of it is like, okay, well, let's just see what nature gives us today, or is it like, kind of doesn't matter, you're just going to run your race?
I think somewhere in between. We are very determined to have our plan, and we're going to stick to that. But you have to adapt. In a way. it's the year of 2017, I think it was. It was really, was it 18? I don't remember. But it was Gale Force Winds.
Yeah, I think that was 2017.
That was 2017.
Yeah, because 18 was the year that it was super flat and fast.
Yeah, that's true.
Nice.
Yeah. And there you definitely have to adapt to the nature and pace yourself out. Pace your nature in mind.
Totally.
So I have another question that you guys can refuse to answer this, but the movie the movie kind of covers a little bit what your sort of pre-race ritual was. Like, it sounds like you guys do some. I mean, it looked like you do some band work. You looked pretty sweaty before you were getting to the start line. Can you walk us through kind of what your pre-race prep kind of like entails the morning of a race? And you can refuse to answer if this is a secret.
No, it's not a secret. Well, we have to try to warm up, both running and swimming if possible, but I don't think we did that. I don't think we did any swimming in 2019. We did some band work.
Because you got to get the engines ready to be outputting a lot right away. Yeah. Because the race doesn't start out cute. You know, it's quick.
But actually, just the World Champs race, not the other races, starts out quite slow because they have that pacing motorcycle for the first island. So it's not as necessary in that race as in other races, I think, to really be set for a fast pace. Because in the other races, we often just open up at maybe 3:15 pace running per kilometer. But just on the World Champs, it's quite slow. I don't know, 4:20, 4:30 pace maybe. Going out on the first, maybe first 2Ks.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And where you sort of have to have gotten your heart rate up is for the first island, where the pace is really high, but then you've had the first long swim to sort of get your motor going and get your pulse up and sort of get into the race, because then the running is really and the getting out and into the water is everything is going really fast on the first couple of islands.
And is that where you guys essentially, that's where the elite sort of the people who are in it to win it would just totally separate from the rest of the field, or does that happen kind of later?
Pretty much.
Pretty much on the first or second island, I would say.
Yeah.
But then it increases all throughout the day. So
and it's been like that regardless of the conditions. So some years it's more or less slippery on those islands, but that's where it tends to usually be a lot of falls and it's also tricky technically, but very, very slippery usually. So I think that makes a big difference if you're willing to risk that, which you kind of have to.
Yeah.
To win. Yeah.
To make sure to be in the top group.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when I used to be somewhat competitive and could win a race depending if no one showed up who could actually beat me, you know, I always found that there were certain periods where you just had to make the decision to kind of go all in and take the risk.
The way.
Yeah, or go all the way, exactly. Where it's kind of like, okay, this might come back to bite me, but if I don't take this risk, or if I don't, you know, sort of have the courage to make this move or whatever it is, like, you know, it might cost me later. Now in swim run, we haven't really experienced that because we're just trying to survive for the most part. But do you think that's true for a race like the World Championship, where there's a couple times where you're just like, all right, we need to have courage and make the risk?
There's definitely those defining moments, and I think that's also what went wrong in 2018, that we knew that right there and then we had one of those moments where you have to make a decision and follow through. And we were so aware of it that we made the decision, but we still didn't follow through. So we kind of saw the whole thing kind of come apart because of that. And in 2019, we were in control of those situations, and there was never any hesitation. We just acted on that instinct that we kind of realized that this is it. This is what we have to do in each situation.
Yeah. So you were. Yeah, totally. You were just way bullish on 2019. You just constantly attacking and pushing every opportunity you got. It kind of seems like.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously, it worked out very
Try to
well
be on
for
top
you guys.
of the game.
Yeah.
Is there one moment in particular that you really felt, it's like, I haven't had any experience about winning a race, but sometimes it does seem that, there is a point in the race where you kind of have it won, or it's yours to lose, or there's an island or two left and you have an hour lead, or whatever the situation is. Was there a moment that you made one of these moves that you're like, that might have been the last move that we had, and this will kind of lock it up for us? Or was it constantly pressing for the whole day?
I think there was no decisive mode where we felt that now we have it. But we had one quite early on where we felt that, okay, we are in very good position to win this, because we ended up running quite fast on one of the first islands, and we got a gap for like 70 meters or something, and the other teams had to fill that gap in an uphill section, and we were going like 3:20 pace maybe, and when they caught up, they were smoked.
Yeah.
And we felt like, okay, this is quite early on in the race, and we're feeling well, and they just burnt like a whole box of matches to fill
right, exactly.
And then it's harder to they can't follow you in the water if you're getting in 50 meters or 100 meters ahead. So that foils that plan for them.
Yeah, that probably they had to. That was why they felt that they had to catch us again. But after that, we felt that we were. We were very much more. We were very confident after that. But there was no point in the race that we felt that now we have won it, I would say.
Till the tape.
No, and we never really let up after that either. So we never really made it easy for them.
Yeah.
Love it.
You're racing.
Yeah.
You're racing.
That's how that is done.
So going back to the film a little bit. We heard it from Carl how you guys had a mutual friend, and then he reached out to you. Was it hard for him to convince you to let him make a movie about you guys when you're trying to essentially, win the world championship? Or was it more like, sure, why not?
Come along.
Well, we were pretty clear with him that we were still just going to do our thing. So he and I think he wanted to keep it as real as possible. So we basically decided most of the times that he should just show up for our training sessions, or when we get together after the training sessions for coffee and things like that. So we just told him that we're going to swim at 6:00. You show up and you get some coverage or not.
Yeah, you're not going to bend your schedule to fit,
so he had to adapt a lot, which was he was surprised that we got up so early.
that's how you make a swimrun champion.
With him being on the subway at 5 a.m.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
pretty funny. So now we go. You won 2019. Amazing performance. You got everything you wanted out of it. Perfect redemption. Great little bow to the movie. And then COVID happened in 2020, as we all know, and you two had all this, I guess we'll say pent-up energy to go to try to repeat at the World Championship, which was not happening. So that kind of formulated the Kraken Swim Run, which we chronicled and documented, and you did an ultra 3-day event swim run over the World Championship course 5 or 6 times. I forgot the distance.
Yeah, it was basically the entire archipelago. So it was a World Championship distance every day for 3 days.
For 3 days. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still dizzied by the accomplishment. But what does 2021 have in store for George and Pontus?
Understanding that it's all tentative.
Yeah. If everything, if all the races happen as scheduled.
Well, we haven't made a final decision on a race schedule. But we're pretty sure that, well, we're going to make sure that we're in great shape for August, September, and we'll see what that brings.
Yeah.
Because we have the best sort of groundwork done that we have had in all of the previous years.
No one is injured this year.
No fact.
And we heard from a lot of people that COVID and the time and the forced time off is actually a really good time to repair, recover, and sort of recharge the batteries a little bit. Did you guys feel that was applicable to you? And do you feel really fresh and kind of ready to attack this year of races, whatever you decide on doing?
Yeah, I mean, it grew. We grew a little bit tired of the situation, but I mean, it did give us a chance to recover some more, and that was very much needed after our Kraken Swim Run adventure.
I
mean,
I needed to recover and not even do it. I needed to take a couple weeks off.
And for quite some time, we also been sort of doing what we've felt like doing training wise, and not been at it after a set schedule for some time, which is probably good for motivation as well.
Totally. I can see that there. So if you haven't seen All the Way movie yet, head on over to alltheway.se.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah. Are you guys happy with the movie? Are you guys happy with how it turned out?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it was incredible to see how it all how the pieces came together.
And Carl is really, really professional.
Yeah, it's super
good at doing this. So,
yeah, I mean, I feel like, I've mentioned this before, and I remember telling Chipper when we were watching it for the first time, just looking over to him and be like, I don't think anybody loves Swim Run more than George and Pontus. Like, just like the energy, the enthusiasm, to me, it just seemed like, whether this was a world title or not, like you guys just really loved the sport and kind of like the idea of what
the process of it.
Yeah, the process of it, like the whole vibe of it. Would you say that's a true statement? Do you guys love swimmer more than everybody else?
I don't know. Yeah, but maybe.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we've kept you on for a while here, and we appreciate you coming on again. You guys are just regulars on the Low Tide Boyz at this point, so congratulations on that, whatever that means. But again, All the Way documentary is out, alltheway.se to check that out. We'll have all those links down below. You make a donation to watch, and it goes to some great cause.
Yep, it goes to the I can't
Oceans.
say. Oh, I can't say it. I mean, in Swedish, it's a
Swedish,
super long word, but it's the Archipelago Foundation.
Yeah,
is the rough translation. But
what's
correct.
the Swedish translation of that?
Yeah, what's the name of that organization?
Gårdsstiftelsen.
Ooh,
okay.
Yeah,
try that one.
Yeah, even harder than
pass.
my
I'd rather do the Kraken Swim Run than try to say that one again.
Awesome. Well, thank
George
you guys
and
so much. You guys are the best. We're really grateful that you guys take the time to be on our show and, help us spread the love about swim run. So yeah, thank you guys again for taking the time to be on our show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to the Low Tide Boyz, a Swimrun podcast. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast and leave a review on iTunes if you're so inclined.
You can also sign up for a newsletter at lowtideboyz.com. That's boys with a Z. And check out our meme page at The Low Tide Boyz on Instagram. If you have any questions or suggestions for the show, drop us an email at lowtideboyz@gmail.com.
We'd like to thank Writing Easy Records for our show music, and of course our wives for their support and tolerance of our swimrun activities, hobbies, and other bullshit we do.
Finally, you can support our efforts on Patreon. Until next time, get out there and go for a swim.
And then a run.
And then another swim.
Then another run.
And then another swim.
And then run to the finish line. And just keep going until you're done.
Yes. Or
until
run
you
to
cross the finish line.
Or run to the car.
Or run to your car.
Somewhere. Just keep running.
Peace.